So just like the bike, my body needed a bit more of warm up and revving up because, as you know, I had done 5 hours of Yoke challenge yesterday, and I gave myself a personal challenge to come out today and do a squat workout just to check the theory of movement is medicine. And I call this video therapeutic back squats because it is something that is not aimed at getting strong but to just provide that little bit of stimulus to get me going and not just sit and be lazy. So fair bit of warm up was needed. It's not in the video. I did lots of these ones right under the bar. My shoulders were really tight, but eventually I got going. Just to give you a perspective, it was 4 of us carrying a yoke which weighed 100 kg for 15 meters for continuous 5 hours, and we covered a distance of almost 20 kilometers. And exactly 24 hours later, I was feeling okay to go ahead and do my therapeutic back squats. I want to put this disclaimer out there, please. I'm not a doctor. I'm not prescribing you to do a back squat right after or 24 hours later, some sort of physical challenge. Please, it's just my own thing. I totally believe that movement is medicine and motion is lotion, and I find back squat to be very therapeutic. I love doing back squats, and it is not for everyone. But what is for everyone is to find out a way to move the body after whatever that you have endured. I believe the doctor slash scientist who came up with the RICE protocol, rest, ice, compression, and elevation, has admitted that ice and rest is not optimal. Movement is better. But I haven't had a good look at it. Otherwise, I would have put that in the description. I'll get more confirmation on that. So I was definitely feeling in my knees. They were popping a lot. Other than that, I was quite stiff, I must say. And I believe one of the experiences that I've had is the way that you know that you're fatigued is that you can't get tight. It's hard to get absolutely rigid around your abdominal area and your lower back. The tightness of lower back in back squat and in any other compound lift is extremely important. A kind of a skill which most people don't know anyway, otherwise known as lumbar extension. You push your chest up and take a big breath and tighten your abs, and that tightens your lower back. Your middle column is very tight due to the intra-abdominal pressure that you just created, and that strengthens and solidifies that lower back area, which is otherwise left very loose, and that is difficult to do when you are already tired. So to me, that's a sign of being fatigued. You can still do a bicep curl because it's an isolation exercise, but that's how you know when you do compound movements, especially back squats, deadlift, front squats, overhead press, bench press. You will know that your system is not firing up. So I was very aware of that. So I started doing 5 reps first and then got into 3 reps. I made sure I slept really well last night, and I had given myself this intention at last, just about when I finished the yoke challenge, that I'll keep moving today. So to me, that is extremely important. What are your intentions? Not what your goal is, not what you want, but what you need. And what was needed to my body was to make sure that I moved my body. And for me, squat is the best movement. For some people, it might be walking, it might be running, but squat worked for me, and I do believe they are therapeutic. They're absolutely a medicine for me. In past, when I used to do ice bath, whenever I'll have a long day, I have some sort of headache going on, I only thought 2 things: a nice cold ice bath, because back then I used to be able to get ice and chuck into my wine barrel and dip into it. It takes a bit of work. Or a cold shower, which I did take today. I take cold shower every day. Or a nice little session of squats. If the time doesn't allow, if I've already done my squats, then many times ice bath has done that trick for me. So I believe there are many things that you can do which can get the therapy or a kind of relief. Most people would say that it is some sort of, you know, comfort thing that you do, which makes sense. Have a nice cup of coffee, you know, just cuddle up, or what do you call them, rug up. Those things do make sense, but I believe that you need a little bit more of stimulus via a low stress activity to keep your joints moving, to keep your brain ticking on. So I did this workout all 24 hours later, and it's possible that somebody already does these things, but my assumption is that most people don't after they have gone through quite a long, enduring type of activity. So then I was ready to go and ride on. Make sure to click on top now to see my challenge and therapeutic back squats. But I had to climb some stairs afterwards. See ya.